Well, to be completely honest, the reality of the situation is this. I was hired by Tiny to be Zonnique's vocal coach. However, throughout the period of time, over a year and a half of me and Zonnique working together, Zonnique and I had our own private conversation where Zonnique expressed that she needed and wanted my help in other categories, as far as whether it was my opinion about her image, whether it was my opinion about storyboarding her next, EP that she's putting out or put out, whichever one it is. Even when it just came to little personal things, in life. So there was a scene where Zonnique, my cousin Ayana, and myself were actually in Zonnique's room. She initially asked me to come to the photo shoot, and I told her no. I don't think, that's right for me to be at the photo shoot. It is, it is what it is. She said, no, I think you should come because it's very important that I have you there. You're going to keep it real with me. You're going to let me know what's going on. Prior to the photo shoot, Zonnique and I had several conversations regarding her image, where she felt that people were coming at her saying she's too fast, she dresses too grown. And what my response was simply is that, well, you got to keep in mind, a lot of people know you from being in a kid group. You can't come from dressing like you're a kid in a kid group to now you're dressing like how Rihanna's dressing. Rihanna can do that because people watched her grow. They watched her, basically being developed, point blank period, When I walked into the photo shoot, it was just, I was kind of thrown off because I saw what Zonnique is wearing, and me being the friend that I am, my first approach was to approach Zonnique and ask her. They didn't show that in there. So people have to understand how TV works. They have to put in there what makes good for TV. They want everyone to pick a side and choose a side. Do I think that Zonnique was underdressed? Absolutely. That part was real. My thing was that when Zonnique could no longer comprehend to me asking her, like, is this what we talked about? And basically that was more so of, are you okay with doing this? This isn't you. This isn't what we talked about. This isn't the thing. She wasn't mic'd up at the time. So protocol for me is, well, you know what? She's taking her pictures. Let me let her take her pictures. Let me go and ask the stylist. You see, the stylist wasn't there. That's the problem. Since the stylist wasn't there, I then went to Zonnique's business manager. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people kind of have it confused because there were things of, well, Brendan was going around the room telling people she looks ugly. I never said she looked ugly. I was going around the room following the proper protocol to make sure that my friend / client was okay. For everybody that knows Zonnique, we all know that she's very timid. She's very shy. She's a beautiful person and all that, but those are two of the traits that she definitely has. And I just, as a friend, wanted to make sure she was comfortable doing that. With Reginae, there was comments being made. The craziest thing is that I don't fault Reginae for anything. I don't. You taking up for your friend, and that's absolutely fine. However, you taking up for your friend without knowing the conversations that your friend and I have had. So that's when it became a problem to me.